Hello everyone, it's Jen. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have a project for you for LDRS Creative. Today I'm using the super cute We Be Jammin stamp set that has all these little critters and the little picnic scene and peanut butter and jelly. I'm also using the coordinating dies, which come already separated for you. I love that the back of the packages have some coloring inspiration. I'm also using the Slimline Scallop die set for the outline of my card today. And if you're not familiar with the Slimline cards, they are just long cards and I love them because you can create more elaborate scenes with them. So as you can see, we've jumped into the coloring already here. So for the darker brown, I'm using the color combination E49, which is my darkest. My midtone is E79, and then my lightest is the E77. I'm just using that for the little moose's hooves and for the quills on our little hedgehog. For the lighter brown color combination, I'm using E25, E35, and E34. So I'm just going in ahead here with my darkest marker, the E25, and outlining where I want those darker contrasts to be. And then I'm blending that out with the E35, and I'm just going to leave the littlest bit of area for my highlight color, the E34. I'm also going to use this color combination for the body of the hedgehog, and you can see here some of those darker contrasts just kind of faded back when I added the lighter markers, so I did go over that a second time on our moose. And I just love how they come to life once you get some color on them. So for our little hedgehog here, just doing the same thing. I'm adding the darkest shadows near his quills, underneath his arms, and then by his foot, and just blending that out again with the midtone and then the lightest. I'm adding E04 for his cheeks, and then I'm going to move on to the antlers on the moose. For that color combination, I'm using E35, E34, and E31, and I'm going to do his nose in that same color combination as well. So just adding the darkest shadows around the side of his nose and then to the outer sides of his antlers as well. For my bread and the sandwiches, I'm using E33, E53, and E000. So for the crust of the bread, I'm just using the two darkest markers, the E33 and the E53. And then for the inside of the bread, I'm using the E53 and that E000. Next, I'm going to move on to coloring our little fox, who is just so cute with that little smile. And for that color combination, I'm using E18 as my darkest, E09, and YR18. And I love this color combination for a really kind of saturated, darker brown orange color for the fox. So his highlights are just going to be around the little white tuft of fur on his face, underneath his ears, and then where his body parts are overlapping another area on his body. For the white, I'm using a couple warm grays. I'm using the W3, the W1, and then I'm going to blend that out with the colorless blender. Fairly small areas here, so I just used a 2-color blend. Just using my colorless blender to fix up some of those areas, and again I'm going to use the E04 for his or her little cheeks. For the peanut butter, I'm using 4 color combinations now. This is a bit much for this tiny area, so you can just use 3, but I used this color combination recently and I really like the look that 4 color combination gave, so I did go ahead and use that again. Colored up the jam in some grape jelly, and then I'm going to work on the picnic table and the bench, and I thought I would do that in white. I just didn't want to introduce a new color into the scene, and I thought this would pick up on the white from the clouds that I will use for my background. So you can just see here I'm using a 3-color combination. I'm using the C5, the C3 and the C1, and then I'll go ahead and blend that out with the colorless blender. Now for my darkest areas, those will be underneath the tablecloth to the ends of each of the planks of the wood, and then anywhere where there's a piece of wood behind another piece of wood. And then, like I said, I'll blend that out with the colorless blender. I also added some of the C1 to the labels on the peanut butter and the jelly, and then blending here now to get that smooth blend for the picnic table. I did forget that little area of the bottom of the picnic table. And now I've gone ahead and I've colored up some additional little characters here. I wasn't sure how many cards I was going to make, so just showing you there that I had fun coloring these up. And now I'm going to use the coordinating dies to cut these out. Super easy. You don't have to cut them, which I absolutely love. They are ready to go. So here's a whole bunch of my images cut out. I did end up only making the one Slimline card, but now I have a bunch ready in my stash to create some more cards with this super cute stamp set. So here I'm using a piece of patterned paper from the new release Country Lane 6x6 paper pad. I'm going to do some paper piecing for the tablecloth. I thought this would pick up on the purple from the grape jam, and I thought it just gave a nice spring or summer feel to the card. So I went ahead and stamped that out, and now I'm just going to cut the image along the black line. I did speed this up quite a bit. I usually am pretty slow at fussy cutting, but I just wanted to make sure that I was cutting on that black line so it fits nicely onto the picnic table. And you'll see how this just really brings the picnic table to life, giving it lots of vibrant color. So there's a close-up look. And now I'm going to go ahead and create my panel. So I just used the stitched panel here for the Slimline scallop dies. I'm not using the scallop piece today, but if you use these together, you can get a really pretty scallop border for your Slimline cards. So I'm just using a cloud stencil here, and I'm just showing you that you can in fact use your 6x6 stencils to do these longer cards. And I'm just simply moving it around my panel and just lining up those clouds as best as possible. And once I have this done, you would never know that this is actually much shorter of a stencil than my card panel. So I'm using some of the hybrid ink in Marina Madness. This is one of the new colors. And I just added a little bit of ink, and then I'm going to go ahead and blend that in just so those clouds aren't as stark white as they would be if I didn't blend out that color a little bit. So next I'm going to bring in my grass stencil here, and I'm using some of the hybrid ink in the Prickly Pear Perfection. This is a beautiful bright green color. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and move my stencil around and then connect it so it looks really seamless. So this one was a little bit more tricky to do, but I was able to do it, and it just looks like some grass hills. Once I get the grass down, I will go ahead and blend the color in here with the leftover ink on my brush, and I also just have a little bit of ink already on my glass mat there, and that will give a really soft look to the bottom of the card with a few lighter white patches, but that's okay. I want the background to kind of settle into the back and let these images be the star of the show. So now I can go ahead and start adding my images to my panel here, just figuring out where I want placement. If you want some dimension, you could definitely pop these up on some foam tape. I'm going to add them straight to my card panel with some liquid adhesive. I love this little guy here with his jar of peanut butter. He's got some peanut butter just on his hoof there. He's digging right into that jar of peanut butter, which is so cute. And then I've added the little fox here holding the sandwich onto the bench of the picnic table. So when I did the coloring, I just wanted to show you one of each of the little critters so you could see what colors I used. But as I showed you, I did color up a number of the images, so I'm adding a few more to the scene. So I'm going to have our little moose here holding the knife with the jelly, and then one of the hedgehogs with a spoonful of peanut butter. I love this little hedgehog, the way they have him drawn. His little quills are to the one side of him, which is super cute. Gonna add some peanut butter and jelly to the top of the picnic table. And now I'm gonna go ahead and work on my sentiments. So at first I thought I was going to have them stacked to the right-hand side of the card. Then I decided to space it out a little bit here. So in the center, I'm going to have the sentiment, "We go like," and then to the right-hand side, it'll say peanut butter and jelly, and I'm using my Raven hybrid ink to stamp out that sentiment, or those sentiments, I guess. I did cut out some yellow cardstock just to add some color behind my panel, and then I'm going to add that to some purple cardstock from my stash. Now I did end up cutting down that panel, the purple one you can see here as I'm adding it to the white card base, that I did cut that so it was a little bit slimmer than what I originally had. I wanted to see some of that white from the card base from behind. And now I'm just going to add some final details here. I'm using my black glaze pen for their eyes and their noses, and then my white size 10 jelly roll pen here to add some highlights. So that's the card for today. I hope you really enjoyed this Slimline card using LDRS We Be Jammin. Kind of gets me in the mood for summer picnics. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a fabulous day. Thank you for leaving comments and liking my videos, and to all of you who have subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell. I really appreciate all of you. Have a fantastic day, everyone, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!